Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a timely tarot oracle reading about random shift. If you are watching this right now, it is the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it has been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then, that can give you further clarity as to your situation now. Also, this is a timely reading, meaning if you are watching it at this time, it is the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it has been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then? That could give you further clarity as to your situation now. We have, I did a short meditation beforehand, and the cards that came from the underlying energy for this reading are the Seven of Wands. And so this in tarot, and Seven of Wands is representing the element of fire. The wands are made of wood because wood fuels fire. And this is talking about taking passionate action. Now, this is a card that's saying, now that I know what I know, I have conviction beyond doubt that this is what I'm going to do. And this is someone saying, I will protect what's close to my heart, and I'm on higher ground, and I'm standing up for myself. And you can come at me all you want, but I'm not backing down. And this is, this is the actions of others coming towards you, and you standing firm. You could have just found something out, or have done, however you have found it out. And it's saying that now you are really sure of where you want to go. We do have, if you notice here, this person has a boot on one foot and a shoe on the other. And so this sometimes can mean that you're straddling it. You just discovered this. And so you're like, whoa, I've got to stand up for this. This is important to me. Sometimes this card can also represent someone who's walking in someone else's shoes. So sometimes this can represent copycat energy, someone who's been, it can be identity theft and forgery and that type of thing. And the conviction beyond a doubt could be judgment has been called in the spiritual realm, and pretty soon justice will be coming down to the earth. And then we have the Chariot from my oracle, and my oracle is Tales from the Vector, and it's courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. The Chariot is usually in tarot is shown with someone riding on a chariot, and they are there's two sphinxes, black and white ones, that are guiding the chariot. There's no reins, and so it's talking about really being on your path, on your divine path, and leaving whatever else behind. It can quite often represent leaving your comfort zone. The Chariot in my oracle is actually the yin yang symbol, which represents, the perfect balance between the masculine and feminine energies. And, the yin yang symbol has like a black dot and a white dot normally, but this is showing the chariot. So this is the power of spin. We're moving. We've managed to get the work done, and we are now balanced in our masculine and feminine energy and ready to go. But normally there would be a little bit of black dot in here and a little bit of white here, and that's saying that, both sides have a little bit of the other in them. So the Chariot is representing getting on your divine path in a strong way. And, the Chariot is like, it's unstoppable. It's like a tank going through the streets. Boom, 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 boom. It's going to run over any obstacles that get in God's plan. And then we have get in the way of God's plan, sorry. It's early in the morning. I'm a little bit foggy still. So forgive me. This is the Ten of Cups. We have the Ten of Cups here is representing ultimate fulfillment, or the promise thereof. We have a rainbow. A rainbow quite often represents that there's been a storm and now there's a rainbow. And this energy is talking about, having a lot of love in your life. And in tarot, cups represent love, quite often romantic love, but it can be love of all sorts. So this, I hope, is not, you probably don't want 10 different people that you're in a romantic relationship with. I shouldn't judge that. Maybe you do. But you better have a lot of time, patience, and money. So this is talking about generally having the perfect partner, a companion that you enjoy and they enjoy you, and the children that are healthy and happy, and having a home that you love to live in a neighborhood that supports you. This is talking about having like an ultimate, the ultimate love in your life, and love for life in a perfectly imperfect world. And so the storm, there could have been a storm that you went through with both of these cards here. And maybe now that you know what you know is because you went off to from rough waters to go to calmer waters to meditate and pray so that you could get some advice from the divine. And this card represents quite often that is from your healing of the inner child. So this adult and child, you notice they have no baggage. And this quite often can represent that the inner child needs healing. And we have 6 swords here. Swords in tarot represent the element of air. It's your thoughts. And so, the swords themselves represent discipline of your mind and your mental intelligence. As well, this is talking about healing that inner child. And when we have rough water in tarot like this, it represents volatile emotions, maybe mixed emotions. An example of mixed emotions is, for me, I can use myself as an example. I had 2 babies. They're grown adults now, 2 daughters, and I had them at a particular hospital, both of them. And that was one of the most joyous days of my life when those 2 were born each time. And then at the same time, both my parents passed in and crossed the veil in the hospital under very challenging circumstances. And so when I drive by the hospital, I don't anymore, but when I've moved from there, but when I would drive by the hospital, I would get like either, have the memories come up of, oh yeah, I remember when my babies were born. Or sometimes it would be, I just so sad at what happened with my parents. And so it's kind of like sometimes the happy thoughts would win and sometimes the sad thoughts would win. And sometimes it'd be a combination of both. And so that's an example of mixed emotions. Mixed emotions are the most challenging to recover from because there's a love attached to them. And so even if there's a lot of negative energy around it, there's still a lot of love attached to it. And so this is about healing this energy from your inner child by going off to calmer waters. And the conveyor here has this deep, like this long pole, and he has to dig deep into the mud to be able to get out of that rough water to move to calmer waters. So this is talking about digging deep within yourself to do some healing that maybe something happened in your childhood. Usually and it doesn't have to be a big thing either. That's what people don't sometimes understand, is it could be just something that happened and it triggered something in you and caused fear. And so that can sometimes be something we hold on well into adulthood. And so this is about taking the time and the energy to love yourself enough to face those fears and then be able to live a more loving life. And then we have also a life full of passion because we have the Page of Wands here. The pages would work for the king and the queen at a young age, 7 to 14, depending on how mature they were. And you might think, oh my goodness, that's way too young. But back in those days, you have to remember the life expectancy was like half of what it is now. So, this would be a real coup. Like he's got a feather in his cap. I mean, if you were chosen to work in the court, you'd be dressed in finery and it would be very prestigious for your family, and you'd be getting an education about what the elites, how they live, about how they do things. His main job would be to run communication back and forth through the palace and maybe do small tasks and errands, that sort of thing. And if he was suitable and he, as he became more and more competent, he would be given more responsibility. And eventually he might even be considered, when he was an adult, he might be considered for knighthood, if he could afford his own horse. So this would be a real coup to have this position. The Page of Wands represents really optimistic, masculine energy with a lot of passion for life. The pyramids in the background here represent this energy of loving to go on adventures and learning about the world and all of that energy. Now, in the old days, this would always be a male, but this could easily be a female in her masculine energy. And just so you know, all of the characters in tarot are meant as archetypes, and they are not gender specific. So they're representing this masculine and feminine energy and gaining balance within that. So the thing about also about the communication, in those days, the only way they could communicate was in person, by handing a note or through verbal, announcements. So you don't have to be expecting it to be like someone knocking on your door. These days, we have so many ways of communicating. It could be a phone call, a text message. It could be something that arrives in the post. It could be an email, or maybe you're on one of the many platforms in social media and someone messages you, or you see something there that really, that's what I needed to know. Or you are maybe go to an event that's posted there, and then you meet someone in person, and that's the perfect person for me to speak to. And so this communication and information can be in many ways. And one thing that this card is advising when the communication and information comes in is to kind of take 5 minutes a day just to find out what's going on in the world. What are the people at the top of the pyramid doing? What's happening in their lives? When we see that, we know for sure that that's going to have a trickle-down effect on everyone below. And it's also we affect what's going on at the top. You got to remember, the elite's only like 1%. The other 99% is what, it has a much bigger effect on the energy at the top than people realize. So as above, so below, as below, so above. It's that type of energy. And so this is saying there's some sort of passionate communication coming in. Now, one thing you have to understand about the Page of Wands is, he, as you can see here, he really admires his wand. He's looking up to it. And quite often, and more often than not actually, he is thinking with his little head rather than his big head. Think of young masculine energy. And so when he comes in, he could be really enthusiastic and optimistic and all that, and passionate, but you have to remember to take what he says with a grain of salt, because sometimes it's a little off kilter. So it's like AI, you need to check your facts here. And then we have the Hanged Man. And the Hanged Man is talking about, he hangs from the tree of knowledge because he wants to gain perspective. It's similar to this energy, but he's looking at a situation from every angle that he possibly can. And then when his aura becomes bright, he comes down from the tree and he takes action after really looking at it from every perspective. And so this energy, I feel like the underlying energy definitely is talking about, you find something out. Now that you know what you have conviction beyond a doubt. You're going to stand up for yourself, and you're very balanced in your energy because you're on your destined path. And this is gives you extra strength, basically, to be able to move forward. The power of spin, once it starts spinning, it's on the spiritual realm. It means that it's about to spin into 3D reality. And we have judgment coming, and the judgment is coming from the Most High. So when we have judgment coming from the Most High, eventually from the spiritual realm, it comes down to the physical. And quite often this judgment card can be talking, like you see the ancestors, they're literally climbing out of their box. Woohoo! This is so awesome. Finally, judgment is being called. So they may have had some unfinished business when they crossed the veil. And they're not really resting in peace until it's cleared up. We also have these descendants across the veil. And so sometimes what happens when God calls judgment, it affects you, but it also is affecting your descendants and your ascendants. Did I say ancestors, not ascendants? Ancestors. Well, they've crossed the veil. So this is talking about if it feels like, man, this is really heavy. I don't know what I did. Like, what's going on here? Quite often, maybe you're clearing the energy up from the karma, from the bloodline. So just keep that in mind. The trumpet is blowing. Quite often, this will bring skeletons out of the closet. And on a more global scale, quite often Pandora's box is opened. And once someone opens Pandora's box, it doesn't get closed until the truth is out. This type of energy is prevalent right now, and it is partly astrological, and I feel that it's because Uranus, which has not, it moved into the sign of Gemini, and when it moved into the sign of Gemini, I think it was about a month and a half ago from when I'm doing this reading. But it's significant because, okay, it's the beginning of July right now, and we're going to have this energy for the next 7.5 to 8 years till 2033. So if you're watching this video anytime up to that point or even beyond, it's significant. Because Uranus in Gemini, bottom line, wants the truth to come out. And the last time Uranus was in Gemini was 1941 to 1949. That was during the World War II and the aftermath of World War II. So, we're still dealing with a lot of the truths that came out of the World War II energy. So this is talking about the truth coming out. And the truth always comes out. And we hear that, but sometimes when is the truth coming out if you're waiting for justice? And the truth of the matter is that it will be in God's time, not in our time. But I feel like there's definitely been a shift in that direction. And we have the Empress energy coming in. So the Empress is representing someone from the major arcana, and this is a status that people reach when she has had enough life experience and still managed to stay on her destined path, keep that balance, do the best she can to be the best version of herself. And she is a powerful manifester because of it. She actually embodies the qualities of all 4 of the queens from the minor arcana because she's had so much life experience. And, the wheat here at her feet is representing what a powerful manifester she is. She has a good track record for having bumper crops. And so this energy is talking about, how she manifests. So she does put her energy into what she manifests. She, like if she says, okay, I'm going to grow a crop, she's going to decide, okay, what kind? Is it going to be wheat or is it going to be durum? Okay, it's going to be wheat. Okay, now, which field would be best suited at this time to grow the wheat? And then she would check to see if the soil needs amending. Does it need fertilizer? What does it need to grow wheat? And then she would make sure that all of the stones and rocks or anything that could damage the expensive seeding and harvesting equipment is picked and taken off the field so that there's less damage and breakdowns during harvest and seeding. And then she will decide, okay, when is the best time to plant this and get it sown as soon as she can during that time frame. And then after that, she has done what she has planned to do. She's an organic farmer. She doesn't spray. So she knows, okay, I've done what I'm going to do. And she leaves it in the hands of nature, waves her wand. It says, thank you, nature, do your thing. I'm sure you'll grow me another bumper crop. Thank you so much. And every once in a while, she might go out there and do a rain dance as needed. But other than that, she's not going to invest any more time, money, or energy into that crop until it's harvest time. And it's kind of like, then she moves on to her next adventure in manifestation. And she is said to be pregnant with possibility. So sometimes when this card comes up, it's actually talking about someone being pregnant with a baby. So if you don't want to be pregnant with a baby, you're highly fertile right now. So keep that in mind. And we have the Knight of Wands coming through. So now look at this. We have This is significant when this information comes in, because this is the Page of Wands, all grown up now, and now he's a Knight of Wands. And look at, see how the pyramids are so close here? Maybe you can't. See how the pyramids are so close here? And now they're further away. He has already explored the pyramids. He's off on the next wonder in life. So the rebel with a cause is someone that has done due diligence. You notice he has this big red plume on the back of his helmet, and that's representing that he has a tendency to be impulsive and maybe a little hot-headed at times, but he has learned from experience to rein his emotions in, discipline his mind, so that he has a much better result. The horse represents the energy of heartfelt energy, as well as passion. And so this is about, the horse is rearing and it wants to keep going, but he's saying, no, we have to control that impulsiveness. He's learned that maybe the hard way. And so he's considered a rebel with a cause. And then we have, here we have disappointment in love here. So disappointment in love is, we have 3 cups here and they're spilt, and then we have the 2 standing. There's a saying, don't cry over spilt milk, and that's because when the milk is in the ground, you're not going to be able to recover it. You have to sometimes accept losses in life, and that's regret and remorse here. But sometimes if this is romantic love, it can represent, like we have 2 cups with wine, and we have one with some other liquid in it that was poisonous to the couple. And so quite often this can represent third-party energy, and maybe someone that is in regret from in the past because they weren't able to control their impulsiveness and caused the ending of a relationship that really mattered to them. Or it can be the regret and remorse of the person that happened to, or even the third party. So the 2 cups standing, the only thing you can do here really that would be beneficial is to pick up these 2 cups and be grateful. I still have 2 cups standing. Walk down that path, cross the bridge over troubled waters to your castle. Now the castle in the background is half dilapidated and half standing. So this represents, what is your attitude going to be? Are you going to approach life through the cup is half full, or is the cup half empty? And this does not necessarily have to be romantic love. This could be love of something you love to do or be. So it could be like a project or something or a business that was really important to you, and something happened, and it's caused a lot of regret and remorse because it didn't work out. It could be like family members or whatever. It could be friends, whatever this is. It's having regret for having lost something that was precious to you. And then we have, but that cycle is ending because now you're on the chariot. You've done the healing work and you've learned best to not be impulsive. Best to, control those emotions a little bit and discipline the mind. And now the Fool's on a brand new cycle. So this is talking about, he's at the 0 point, and he's ready to take a leap of faith. And okay, this cycle I'm going to do even better. The sun in the background is white because it's saying this is a clean slate moving forward. He does have a little bit of baggage here, but that's because he has tattered sleeves here, and he the tattered sleeves represent that he has been on a cycle or 2 in the past, and so he's taken the knowledge of what he learned from the past, and he's bringing it with him, and but he's on a clean slate. He's on a new adventure. And then we have, look at the top here. We have the energy of I feel that this is saying in the past, what a difference this is. Like, this is saying, if when you're standing here, you have 2 choices. You have to acknowledge, okay, maybe I caused this, or, you always had caused it some way. It takes, if there's a relationship, of a significant other, definitely it takes 2 people to have a significant relationship. But it also can be like really regretting an impulsive move. And sometimes you just have to say, okay, well, that was a loss. And you could stand there and be in this energy, or you could decide to do some healing work and learn how to control your emotions and discipline your mind and go on a new journey, taking what you know. So if you decide to just stand there. And this is if you decide to do the healing work that you need to do so you can go on another cycle. So this is standing here, and it's the process of going through that. This is a mental prison. This person is bound up, and quite often this represents being duty bound. And it can be duty bound because what happened is from people that you love. And so it's really hard to make that decision of what you're going to do. She has a blindfold on. She doesn't really want to see it, or she can't find a thought that satisfies, okay, this will work. And so she's standing here, and I feel at one point there was way more water here. It was rougher water. But she has done the work, and she has these 7 thoughts behind her. And she has managed to use that her thought, like her courage to face the situation. And she has decided to, the one sword that's in front here, okay, this is the thought, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to move forward. And this, this represents discipline of your mind, of quieting the mind and deciding, okay, she's finally going to take action. So these thoughts are the ones she's put behind her, but you notice she's also put the castle behind her. And so she might be leaving. This is talking about leaving your comfort zone, and sometimes leaving people behind that you love, and leaving behind even, shift you love, and your home, or whatever that is. So it could be a lot of but it's significant. And you notice her right foot is forward, and this is on dry land. Her left foot is still in that puddle, but it's a very shallow puddle. So it's not that her emotions are shallow, but that there was way more here, and it's dissipated, and now she's able to move forward. She's going to cut herself free and do what she has to do, and she's decided this is the action that I'm going to take. And sometimes this can actually be the thoughts of people behind her back. So she might have learned a hard lesson about, people, the nature of people. So this is talking about a promise after having like a storm in your life, of having that love and that passion back in your life. Learn how to control your emotions and discipline your mind. This is sometimes because sometimes we can't recover the loss. There's no taking it back. And then we can decide, are we going to stand there for the rest of our life, or are we going to go on another cycle and heal? And then this is talking about maybe we are clearing up some energy for our ancestors as well. And we don't take action until we're centered, and then we take action. That doesn't mean you have to take a long time. It means that you have to consider the action that you're about to take. And then we can be a powerful manifester like the Empress. All right, I'm going to clarify for those that want clarification with my oracle. Thank you if you're leaving the reading here. This is a beautiful reading full of really good advice. We all go through kind of shift at one point and another in our life, and sometimes often. So this is talking about maybe how to get through it and have the courage to do so. Okay, so the cards that, this is from my oracle, Tales from the Vector. The numbers on these cards represent the 64 paintings in my oracle. This is how they're listed in the gallery. I will put the cards as they appear here, in the order they do, in the description box below, so you can look them up if you want. It's talesfromthevector.com. Perception. So this is talking about someone who thought the grass was greener on the other side. That's this energy here. And then now they found out it's fake. So this definitely could be their regret, but it's probably everybody's regret because it's a painful situation. The need to be right. Sometimes, the need to be right can be like really troubling in life. It's a karmic space we can all fall into. And it's kind of like, if we need to be right every single time, then that means other people have to be wrong. And then how are you ever going to learn anything? But sometimes this can be about, sometimes you do need to be right, that's for sure. But you don't need to impose your rightness on other people. There is something that's called righteous anger. And so sometimes there's things that need to be dealt with. So sometimes this can be talking about making a mountain out of a molehill, and sometimes it can be talking about making a molehill out of a mountain. You need to know when righteous anger is right for you and when it's not. And so the anger part is another karmic space. Quite often they do go together. And this is talking about, anger, as I said, sometimes it's righteous, but a lot of the time it's a habit we fall into. And unfortunately, it's a gift that keeps on giving. It can be passed down from one generation to the other. Great-great-grandmother got pissed off and then she raised off a bunch of angry children, and then they raised angry children, and now they're 4 or 5 generations later. You're sitting there and you're wondering, why are we angry again? What was great-great-great-grandmother's name? What happened? So it can be talking about clearing that energy out of the line. You're a star, you're meant to shine. And having innocence is a choice. Innocence is, a lot of people mistake innocence for naivety, but innocence is a choice to be more childlike and approach life from a new perspective again, like with a clean slate, so that you can be happy again and optimistic, like the Page of Wands, that energy. So, remember, you are a star and you're meant to shine. Have the courage to be able to face what you need to face about yourself. This is about really digging deep, this energy here of really digging deep and realizing, okay, I have to take a look at this because maybe the reason why the relationship didn't work out is because of this or that, and maybe I could approach it from a different angle, and maybe some of these karmic spaces were involved, and I can learn from that, so when I have my next loving relationship that I do better. And then at the top we have, that makes you a superstar. Way more harmony in your life if you can do that. Speaking words of wisdom, basically. Words have a lot of power, and like my grandma Anna used to say, be careful with your words, because sometimes when you say something, you can never take it back. That person will never forget what you said, no matter how many times you apologize. And and it doesn't mean you can't forgive them, but it means that you'll always remember what was said. And it changes the relationship in a way that can't really be repaired. All right, this is really good advice. I never know what I'm going to get with Random Shift. I really like this one. It's full of a lot of really good advice. I do hope you've enjoyed it as well. Thank you for your likes, comments, shares, subscribes. I'm really honored when you do subscribe, and it's really helping me build my channel. Thank you so much, and I will be back with another reading about Random Shift.